First thing that we're going to do is go over some of the stances. One of the things you're going to have to practice is learning how to make a front stance, okay? So go ahead and say that with me. Say front stance. Here's the difference of a front stance and all your other stances. Front stance, I take a big step forward, keeping my feet flat. So right away, just in this position alone, I have to purposely keep this back foot flat and not let it turn too much. If I let it turn too much, then I'm already going to be in the wrong or bad position. Unbalanced, I should say. All right, so I take a nice big step forward, and then I'm going to take a nice good size half step to the side. But I keep my foot as far forward as I made my initial step. So I don't want to bring it back any. Right here. Then I'm going to just bend this front knee, keep this back leg locked out nice and tight and straight. And I'm going to bend this front knee until I'm not able to see my toes if I look down. This is your front stance. So you can see I'm kind of off a little bit centered because I started directly in front of the camera. But that's how a front stance should execute. So straight forward, body up. You don't want the shoulders to turn. I shouldn't be leaning at all. And I shouldn't be straightening this leg up. Remember, if you can look down at any time and see your foot or your toes, you don't have your front knee bent enough. Right there. Back leg locked out straight. And then back. Now that's going to take some practice from you. That's not a normal or a regular position that we make in our daily life. So you're going to have to get your body used to it. You got to develop that muscle memory. Left side here and step. Bend that front knee. I'm not able to see my toes. Back leg is straight. Bring it back. Right side. Step. Left side. Step. From behind, so you can see how it looks from behind. Right side. Step. Left side. Step. Right side. Step. Left side. Step. From the side, so you can see the position on the side.
Look.
Right side. Hi, baby.
Look.
And back.
Look.
This way you can see the length of it. Left side.
Look.
I see, you got a big balloon.
Yeah.
Take it over there. Thank you. And back. One more time. Right side. Back. And you notice I'm not leaning forward on that step. Left side. And back. So that's your front stance. Again, you got to make it long plus wide plus width. Hey everybody, the next stance that we're going to work on is your walking stance. And it's very simple, basically exactly what it sounds like. If you're going to be walking and you just randomly stop in the middle of your walk, that's your walking stance right there. So because everybody walks differently, everybody's got different length height, different height, different length legs, there is no real set way on how you execute a walking stance because everybody's a little different. So this is my best description I give to anybody. If you were walking and you just stop, somebody calls your name, right? You're walking, sir. There's my walking stance. Yes? Oh, okay, I'll talk to you later. So from the side. Up. Swing those arms nice and well balanced, right? We counter rotate for weight. So kind of give this little shot like that and look over to the side as if you're Bigfoot and somebody's taking a picture of you in the forest. Right? Bigfoot's always got a really good walking stance if you ever see any of those shots. So there's your walking stance. That's going to be another stance we'll use in this form. Next technique you're going to use in this form is going to be your low block. And we've done this before, and we even had a previous video out. I think one of our first videos was practicing low block here. But in order for you to execute it properly in your form, you got to make sure that you're preparing properly. And that's where everybody makes the mistake because they forget the preparation on both sides. So if I'm going to execute a left hand low block, preparing like this, right hand turns up, and I'm going to bring the side of my hand, right here, my fist, right on my hip, on the belt, on my belt, okay? But more importantly, on my hip. If I wear my belt a little low or a little high, I don't want it necessarily on my belt, because even right here could be on my belt, but that's the wrong spot. You want the side of your fist here, pinky, on your hip bone. Now the other hand is going to execute in the low block. Hook, like a sweeping, swiping windshield wiper motion. Prepare again. 1, 2. Hup, both together. Hup, hup, like that. Now, other side, same thing. 1, 2. 1, 2. One more time. 1, 2. Okay, so you see right there, we went over this one before. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, but that's another technique you're going to use here, which is going to be your low block. Now, again, the main thing that you want to practice when you're practicing this, so that you can develop the habit and the muscle memory, is the preparation. No matter which hand you're going to use and what direction you're facing or turning, you have to prepare properly. And if you have that habit down where you don't have to think about the preparation, it'll make all the executions of your low block so much easier as you're learning your poomsae. Next block that we're going to use here in Taeguk Jang is going to be your inner middle block. So I'm going to put a foot in front here just so that it gives me a little bit more leverage and you can hear a little bit more of my power that I'm going to execute here. So the preparation, again, is always, always important for all your blocks. This is how you're going to prepare for a right hand inner middle block. Left hand out in front, shoulder height, wrists are always straight. You don't want the wrist up at all. You always want to keep those straight. Hand over here by my ear, elbow pointing out. You don't want the elbow like this. You want to open that body up as much as you can to execute as much power as you can. So here, same thing, 1, 2. Now here's the motion. I'm going to show you very, very slow and break this down easily for you. 1, 2. I do drop this elbow down and then bring the arm in, and I'm going to snap and twist my wrist right as my hand is kind of crossing my face to go across to the other side of my ear, even with that section, of my head here. So you can see I'm kind of snapping that in here, boom, right here. You don't want the elbow down, again, like I said, like this, because you're going to see the difference on the lack of snap when you just bring that arm in from here. All right, so you want that elbow out so that I can drop here to put a little bit of impact, a little bit of momentum with my shoulder. And once I get that arm out in front of me here, I can take that wrist to snap around for a little more power on that inner middle block. And it is specific, inner middle block. There is an outer middle block that comes later on. So on the left side, here we go. 1, 2. Prepare. 1, 2. Prepare. 1, 2. One more time. Both together and block. One more. Block. And that's your inner middle block. Last block that we use in these forms, the first 3 forms here, and Taeguk Jang is the second form, is going to be your high block. And contrary to how it sounds, it's not like this or like that. I am blocking over my face and my head, but I don't want to block too high. You can go too high, and then you can go too short. So it is a little bit, it's going to take a little bit of practice for you to get into your good position, your ideal spot of how high to lift up that hand. Where should the hand be? Do I block more with my arm? Where should my elbow point in position? So on a proper high block, you are going to be blocking with a little bit of your hand here, and then about midsection of your forearm. So the wrist, midsection of the forearm here. That's your high block. You don't want it directly like this here. Some people do have a little bit longer arm or maybe longer, wider shoulder, and they are able to get this nice and straight across and high enough, but that doesn't happen for everybody. You don't want the elbow out too high. I'd rather have my elbow down, so that way I can bring my elbow back down here to protect the, my lower half of my body. If this is up really high, you can see I'm very exposed here, right? But as long as my elbow's not too high, I can bring that elbow down quicker to help protect my body. So let's prepare on this one. And I'm going to go over the actual detail preparing for a high block. I'm going to put a high block with my right hand right now. Left hand is up right here. about shoulder height. I'm going to take my right hand and cross in front of it. So I'm making a cross over here to the side of my body. And I want the insides of my wrists touching each other, not the outside. And I don't want it on the inside either. So on the cross right here, I don't want my blocking hand close to me. I want it on the outside. And there's a reason for that, because of the way you're going to execute the technique and to develop as much power as you can for it. And that's going to take some practice. A lot of people get confused on that, even just by looking at it. They think it is this way. But if I do it like this here, you can see as I'm blocking up, yes, that can work, but I don't have any twist or snap to my arm or to my wrist to add that extra power that you might need for a high block. That's why I have my right hand on the outside and it's facing towards me. So as I bring that arm up, I can twist at the last minute to the top for some extra power. Okay, here we go. 1, 2. Here again. Always bringing the inside hand right to the hip bone. Again, we're at hip bone. Yes. On the belt, on your hip. Ready. And hum. Do. Again, ready? Hum. Do. One more time. Hum. Do. Now together. Hum. Do. Set. Now on the other side. I'm just going to go right into these. Hum. Do. Set. Again, remember the hand that is blocking needs to face towards you and twist out as it executes up. So that's your high block. Okay, now we're going to get into the form. Taeguk Jang, the Pumse, which is the second form of the universe, second in the lineup that we learn our Taeguk forms in. So one quick tip before we start, once you execute your technique, whether it's a punch or a block, you want to make sure that your hands do not move while you're taking your steps or your turns. Keep them in that same position. This will help you remember which hand you need to execute a block or a punch with next. If that sounds a little confusing, don't worry, you'll see what I mean here in a second. Okay, so let's get started. 준비. Aya! And han. First turn to my left. Left foot walking stance. Left hand prepare. Left hand low block. Next step, count 2, dual. I'm going to take my right leg and step into a front stance and execute a right hand punch. How do I know my right hand? Because my right hand should have been on my hip. Now I'm going to take, for step number 3, I'm going to take my right leg and step back behind me 180 degrees back to another walking stance. Prepare for a right hand low block. Step forward left foot, front stance, and a punch. Now I'm going to prepare for a right hand inner middle block. My left foot is going to step back to the front in a walking stance, middle block. Do the same thing on the other side. Right leg steps forward, prepare for left hand inner middle block. Now my left foot is going to step forward even, and then I'm going to turn to the left for another left walking stance. And a left hand low block again. Now from here, which is very similar to the first section that we did, the second section here, I'm going to execute a front kick, land down to a front stance, and a face level punch, like this. Now I'm going to take my right leg and step 180 degrees behind me into another walking stance to my right side, prepare for a right hand low block. Then I'm going to take a left leg front kick, land in a front stance again, and left hand punch. Now I'm going to take my left foot and step to the front again, walking stance. So as you can see, I'm moving forward slowly. From here, I'm going to execute a high block now. Left hand, high block. I'm going to step forward with my right leg. Prepare for another right hand high block, walking stance. Now from here, I'm going to take my right hand and prepare for a right hand inner middle block. So you can see I'm prepared for that. But I'm going to take my left leg and step around behind the right leg and kind of do a little spin. Once I end there, I should end in a very good left side walking stance. Once I stop my spin, now I execute a right hand inner middle block. Now I'm going to just pick this back foot up and turn the other direction for my walking stance. Now I'm going to prepare for a left hand inner middle block. Now the last section here, I'm going to go to the end. And I realize I stopped counting for you guys here. Okay, so left foot, walking stance to the back, left hand low block. Now from here, the last three movements, which would be last three counts, I execute a front kick, punch. 3 of those, key up on the last punch. That's the end of the poomsae. Ha! And throw. Ha! Show. If done properly, you should have started and ended very, very close to where, in the same spot. So, what I would recommend when you're learning this and watching it, you might need to stop and pause sometimes, which is fine. Get yourself in the position, check all your points to make sure you're following along properly. Because the worst thing to do is practice very, very hard and put a lot of time and effort in and learn something wrong. Then you come back to class and you're very excited. And I've had this happen to so many students and people over the years. Sir, I've been practicing for my form. Check it out. I want to show you. And they're very excited and proud. And they want to show me. And they do something, wrong. And I say, oh, that's very, very good. And I try not to burst anybody's bubbles because I don't like to do that, especially if they're very proud of them practicing. And I want to keep them encouraged on practicing. So I'll say something like, oh, that's very good. But make sure when you do it next time, you do this here. Or change that. Instead of just saying, nope, that's wrong. You messed that up. You did it wrong. I'll always try to be empathetic towards how people feel. Okay, now this next video, or I should say the last video in this session here, is going to be going over that poomsae there, Taeguk Jang, from behind in reverse, so you can follow along with me. Now, I really, really encourage you guys to watch this, practice it, even if you're black belt, red belt, or you've done this, you've tested over this poomsae already, and you're kind of beyond that. Here's the question I would ask you, if you're thinking that or feeling that inside. Would you be able to go to a tournament right now with that form, get out in front of a stage, in front of hundreds of people, perform it, and win? If your answer to yourself is no, then that should let you know you should practice. Or you could ask yourself, you might say to yourself, well, I'm not going to any tournament anytime soon, so that doesn't apply to me. Okay, could I come over, or could you show me a video, send me a video, and I'm going to say, you know what, it's a testing, it's a virtual testing, show me your video, send me your form, and I'll take a look at it. And if you did that, would you pass and get your next belt? Today, right now. If your answer is no, then you should practice it. I still practice all of my poomsae. Taeguk Jang all the way up. I do practice more of my black belt ones because those are a lot more advanced with different movements. But I still practice my other ones because I need to stay sharp. I never feel like I know it all, I know enough, I don't need to practice. If you ever think that or feel that, you need to get up off the couch or wherever you are and get in some practicing. Okay, so here we go. From behind. Now that my rant is over, Chumi, Aya! And Hana. To the left, left hand low block. Duo, front stance, punch. Set. To the right, right hand low block. Net, front stance, punch. Dasa, left foot up, right hand middle block. Yasa, right foot steps forward, left hand middle block. Yugo, turn to my left, walking stance, left hand low block. Yadol, front kick with the right leg. Right hand punch, land in my front stance. Aho, turn to the right, walking stance, right hand low block. Yo, left leg front kick, land in front stance, face punch, left hand. Johanna, left leg to the front, walking stance, left hand high block. Yadul, Step forward, right hand high block. You set. Prepare with the right hand for right hand inner middle block. Left foot crosses, spin, middle block. You set. Turn to the left. I just turn here. I don't take any steps. I face one direction, now I turn the other direction. Left hand inner middle block. You net. Now we're going back home. Left foot walking stance, left hand low block. Yadasa. Front kick. Punch. Yasa. Front kick. Punch. Yugo. Front kick. Aya! And put her up. Huh! Show. And there's your Taeguk E jump.